Somebody needs to hear this because they downplayed it. They thought it was minimal. See, a lot of people don't think it's a lot of consequences they'll get for coming and trying to hurt you. As a chosen person, you are always a target. I want you to remember that. You're a target to be blessed, and you're a target for people to try to harm and to injure. You are. The enemy is always looking, devising ways and plots and schemes and ploys to destroy your life. It's not enough for the enemy to slow you down. He literally wants you destroyed. But this is an example that God is going to set. This example, it has to be set. It must be set, God says. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Why? Because they downplay God's warnings. This is not good. You never want to downplay God's warnings. Don't ever do that. And people are learning that, because the downfall of anyone that opposes his people is their fate. That's going to be their testimony. A lot of people are just blinded by pride, and a lot of these people are blinded by mere arrogance and deceit. And this is what has caused, or this is what is going to cause the downfall of people when they downplay God's warnings. I mean, they downplayed it over and over and over and over and over again. God said, don't talk bad about my person. Leave my kids alone. If you can't bless my children, don't try to curse my kids. For one, you can't curse what I have called blessed. If you are wearing the name of the Lord, you're blessed. But they didn't take heed to this. So God said an example must be set. God is going to make an example out of anyone not only targets his children, that tries to injure and harm his kids. God said they downplayed it. God said, like my warning was minimal, like my warnings that I gave was nothing. See, that's sometimes how people think when they're carnal, when they're not spiritually minded. They would think the warnings that God give them regarding you, it's nothing. Whatever consequences happen for coming for that person, I can handle it. See, they downplayed the consequences they were going to get when it came for you, because they looked at you just like a regular person, an ordinary person. But they will feel that you are not an ordinary person. These people are going to have such a downfall because they're very arrogant, they're very facetious people. They are blinded by their own deceit, by their own pride. They're wise in their own eyes. Can't tell them anything. God said, okay. God said, I got it. The traps and the schemes. You listen to this. This is why you need to let your mind at ease and let your mind rest. God said the traps and the schemes they set becomes instruments of their own destruction and downfall. Y'all listen at that. Do y'all hear that? That's heavy. Hashtag it. It's heavy. That's deep. That's deep. That's a golden nugget for all of us, isn't it? Say that's deep. Hashtag it. Say God talking some good stuff tonight. God is talking some real good, deep spiritual nuggets. God said the traps and the schemes they set becomes instruments of their own destruction and their own downfall. So that means whatever schemes people are putting into place, whatever traps they're setting for God's people, God said those things that they set for you are going to become instruments of their own destruction and downfall. So what people are doing or what they're trying to do, God will use it as an instrument to destroy them. This is why people are going to hate you more, because they were so sure that trap was going to be the one to take you out. They're going to hate it when they realize that that plot and that ploy and that scheme and that trap they set for you, they set it for themselves. They'll meet a downfall. You won't. You're going to elevate every time. You're going to step on top of everything that tries to put its foot on your neck so you can never get up and breathe. God say no. That python spirit won't even get close enough to you to squeeze the life out of you. God say they boast that nobody can stop them. Listen to what people are saying. They boast. This is the enemy, that nobody can stop them. See, that shows how prideful and arrogant that people are. And this is what will always lead to the doom of people, because they feel like nothing can stop them. Nothing can hurt them. Even if they do things to hurt other people, they feel like if they get judgment back, it won't be nothing. I can handle it. See, that's arrogance and that's pride. And that's what's going to cause the downfall and the doom in the end of people. When you ignore God's warnings, hey, listen, we need to take heed too. All of us that's listening. When you ignore God's warning, defeat is certain. When people ignored, turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to the warnings God were giving them to touch not his anointed. Keep your mouth off of my anointed. God said, okay. When you did that, when people do that, that leads to their doom. And it's going to show people that the warning God gives, he's going to make sure that your defeat is certain. Their defeat is certain. This isn't an iffy situation. Their defeat and their doom is certain. When you ignore God's warnings, your defeat is certain. Your favor is removed. The favor that people thought they had, God said, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to take it. Yeah, he's going to take it. The doors that were open for them, God said, let me shut these doors that I open. Because God said, I want them to recognize who opened these doors and who gave them favor. And God said, I want them to understand why all of it's been taken. Okay? Opportunities that were given, God said, you won't get them. The opportunities that God put in motion for people, God said they're not going to get them because you disregard the warnings and you downplay. Not only do people disregard it, they downplayed it. Can you imagine downplaying God's warnings when it comes to his chosen people? God said, this is why I'm going to set an example. You know, God will make an example out of us. Now, you don't want to let God make an example out of you for doing wrong. If you make an example out of you, let it be for something good. Let it be for something positive. But for those people who can't sleep at night, we're trying to devise plans, how to bring you down and how to bring you down a notch, take you off your high horse, so they say. To those people, God said it's better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck and cast in the sea. He said, because when you do it to the least ones, God said, you did it to me. Every time people do things to you, against you, if it's not good, they do it unto God. And even, let's flip the coin over. Let's flip that coin over. Even when people do things that are great toward you, that are nice and beautiful things, and where they honor you and bless you and affirm you in a good way, God said, you did it unto me. That's why God said, I will bless those who bless you. And he said, I will curse those who curse you. But I want to leave you with this, and I never want you to forget it. The traps and the schemes that people set becomes instruments of their own destruction and downfall. I'm going to say that again because that's so profound. Listen, the traps and the schemes that people set for you become instruments of their own destruction and their own downfall, because they become blinded by their own arrogance, and they become blinded by their own defeat. And this is what leads people to doom. This is what leads people to a downfall. This is what leads people to fail. When God blesses us, that means he gives us that empowerment. He places an empowerment, an endowment upon us to prosper. But if you try to curse what God has blessed, God said, I'm going to empower that person to fail. No matter what you touch, it won't prosper. No matter what ground you dig to plant, God said you won't get no harvest. I'm going to let you hit rock every time. And you're going to keep toiling that field and you won't produce a good harvest. You're going to produce a harvest, but you're not going to produce good fruit because you planted a bad seed. You can't plant bad seed and think you're going to get good fruit. See, people were so simple-minded and they were ignorant spiritually to think that when they planted bad seeds against you, it was nothing. They thought they can do it, get away with it, and still live their life and be wealthy, be fruitful, be productive. And God said, no. Every tool you use against my children, God said it's going to be an instrument that I'm going to use against you for your own downfall. So literally, they dug their own pit. And it's deep. And it's so deep that they won't be able to get out of it, family of God. Thank y'all for tuning in to the broadcast of You Are Enough. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time.